Howdy.
Hi, Judy. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to be back on Zoom.
Got everything all set up, so
Thank you.
if you give me share screen rights, then I will. I've got it. Good.
You got it, my dear. You got it.
And I'm going to look at the agenda on my iPad so that I don't have to dodge in and out for that. Actually, Melissa, I have a question for you.
Okay.
The Arnstein property in the parcel viewer in the file that I have, which is from 2 years ago, it's 3 lots. So has that been combined? I know they were all owned by the same person, not the person we are seeing, but I guess it got sold.
I think Brad can kind of educate us on this. He does own the 3 lots. But I think it's only the one that he needs the wetlands. Brad will let us know. We'll have clarity
Okay.
after. But I did know that, and the beginning of the narrative says that he owns the 3 lots.
Yeah.
So I didn't have time to finish reading it. I just got the first sentence in.
No, I saw that. It was just that we only got the Watercourse app for one.
Yep, and I think it only affects 1 lot, but
which is probably where the cabin is.
Yeah. We're in a treat for Brad's presentation again tonight.
Okay, hi everybody. It is 6:30, and I'd like to call to order the regular Zoom meeting of the Woodstock Planning Board for September 16th, 2021. And I see that we do have a quorum. Melissa, do you have any updates to the agenda?
I do not.
Okay, we have the minutes from July 29th, August 19th, and September 2nd. If everybody's okay with them as is, I suggest we accept them.
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Now we have a letter from Campanelli and Associates, which was sent to me, and Melissa asked if it could be sent to all of you, which she did. It's regarding the T-Mobile wireless station. It was just kind of a genetic letter, right? It didn't really change. It didn't affect us in any way.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out why he sent it to us. It sounded like he was asking to get hired, but
right
to the town board.
Right.
And he was hired by the town board, so that was my little yes. Same yes.
I thought I remembered that. So
yeah, we'll see what they come up with later. And then we have a narrative from Mr. Will, but since he's going to be presenting, I'll let him present the narrative at the time. So we have a couple of public hearings, and then we've got a pre-sketch and a couple of sketch reviews. So
I have all the documents available to be pulled up, and I also have all the applications mapped. So
great.
At any point, you just let me know what you want.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Judy.
Well, we're a couple of minutes early, but I'm going to begin, and I'll open the public hearing in a few minutes. The first case is Susan Lerner and Barr, Planning Board Case 21-1228 and SUP 21-0656. And this is a public hearing for a lot line revision and special use permit applications to transfer 1 acre from the SBL 36, which is on 83 Mount Guardian Road, which is originally 4 acres, to the SBL 34 on McDaniel Road, which is originally 8.1 acres, and then therefore will establish 2 lots of 5 and 7.1 acres to construct a dwelling on the SBL 34 in the R5 zoning district located on McDaniel Road at 83 Mount Guardian Road in Bearsville. And the reps are John Gerd and Barry Price. So,
Peter,
yep.
am I reading it wrong? Because it looks to me like it's looking to transfer the 1 acre from the smaller lot to the larger lot, and yet the rest of the resolution says the opposite.
Well, we'll let Barry straighten that out.
That's correct, John. That's what it says.
I'm going to let John address that because John's handling the lot line.
Okay. All right. So this is a public hearing. So I'd like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Okay. So we can start with either Barry or John, whoever wants to tell the board what your proposal is.
Before John goes, I'll just say, I mean, Peter, you summarized it well just in terms of the lot line move, which enables the opportunity to build this dwelling on the adjacent lot, to take advantage of the access road and really ultimately it's about minimizing disturbance to the site, minimizing cutting trees and just taking advantage of the infrastructure that's there. But in order for this to happen, it had to start with the lot line division, and maybe I'll just let John just summarize the acreages and the shift, if that's okay, John.
I'm pulling up the file now, so I have exact numbers. But essentially what we were trying to do is move the line over to the center of the access easement, or, the private road known as Mount Guardian. If you bear with me for just 1 second, I'm going to pull up the file on my computer and address whatever issue we have with the area.
Well, I've got it. I've got the aerial map up. I'm going to take the contour lines off it. So this is Mount Guardian, the red line.
Correct. And essentially what we are doing is taking some from the larger lot and adding it to the smaller lot. It's roughly about 1 acre. I haven't pulled up my file yet to give you the exact number, but it should be on the map.
I had that. It's the Mount Guardian lot's originally 4 acres, and we're transferring 1 acre total to McDaniel Road. So it's the end result will be 7.1 acres and 5 acres.
Exactly. So we're basically making the one lot bigger, transferring the line to a sensible location as far as I'm concerned with respect to being more or less in the center of the right of way, and limiting disturbance then with the build that they want to do for their new residents.
So the new line would go around here somewhere?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
it goes right down the center of the existing driveway, which is basically the private road.
This road.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
correct.
The map is not quite lined up. I suspect this little shadow here is the actual road.
You're exactly correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the driveway there. It pretty much hugs the driveway to the right of the pool.
Yep.
So I think it goes down and hits that corner at the bottom of the lot or close to it, right, John?
That's correct.
Well, never count on these outlines being in the right place exactly, because they aren't.
No, there's usually a shift. That's correct. It gets me a lot of work.
I bet.
So I did the site visit with Barry, and it's quite reasonable. As they said, the new lot line goes up the middle of the road, and the new structure is getting access from that road. And as Barry showed me on the site, it's the least amount of disturbance because it allows them to get the driveway and the parking up to the level of the first floor level of the house so that she doesn't have to climb stairs. Basically, the main issue was that the building is not higher than the trees that are surrounding it. There's a natural buffer line of trees that surround it, so it's very protected.
Question?
Yeah, go ahead, Judy.
I have a feeling that the from and the to ought to be swapped on this agenda. I don't know if that affects the way the record is going to show it, because it's transferring from the larger one to the smaller one, and that's not what this says.
All right, well, we will correct that in the resolution for sure. This is a public hearing, so are there any members present in the public for this hearing that would like to say something? If not, Melissa, do you have any letters or phone calls regarding?
I had one neighbor call, but I don't see him here, and he asked for the file, and I sent an email invite, and I didn't hear anymore.
All right, then I entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Barry, do you want to say anything more? I mean, you've explained it's a really logical project, for what you're building and what the building looks like, and it fits quite well into the environment there.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any issues with setback, given how close that boundary is to the pool?
No, we, it falls within the legal setbacks relative to the lot line. It's close, but we had enough room, and we took that into account. And actually, when the lot line was set, we looked at, we wanted to avoid any variances if we could. So we were pretty careful about all that, but so the answer is no.
There was a question in the chat about whether this is for a private residence or a commercial.
No, it's absolutely a personal residence. I mean, the full disclosure is that it's going to be a dwelling for the original owner's kids. Now use the house at 83, and the mother will live on the new lot in the adjacent property.
Great, thank you.
So all residential.
Any other members of the board have any questions for Barry or regarding this case?
Nope.
Okay, then I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the application pending draft resolution.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Barry.
Thanks, guys.
I really appreciate it. Thanks everybody for your input.
Good luck.
Yes.
Take care.
Good
I'll
night.
talk to you guys later.
Okay.
All right, we have another public hearing. And again, it's a minute or two early, but I'll introduce it. It's the Highwood Sportsman's Club, SUP 21-0174A. And this is a public hearing for a special use permit application for a timber harvest in the R3 zoning district located at 870 Church Road in Woodstock. And the rep is Lori Raskin, who is the forester. So is she here with us? Yes, there you are. Okay, well, again, we thank you for that wonderful tour.
Oh, sure.
And educational tour about selective harvesting. So it's a minute early, but I'm going to entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so first of all, Lori, why don't you tell the board and the public what your project is?
Sure. Hi. So I am Highwood Sportsman's Club forester, and they hired me to write them a DEC approved stewardship plan. So we did that. And while I was doing that, I was doing forest stand delineation, which means that I was assessing different areas of the forest so that it can be managed in a proper way based on the species that were there. And then from that forest stand delineation, I then took forest inventory. And with that inventory, I was able to extrapolate the data and project it on northern hardwood and mixed hardwood stocking guides that are accredited in the scientific community. And it turns out that a lot of the stocking of their forests, since it hasn't been managed in over 50 years, is overstocked. And their goal, Highwood Sportsman's Club goal, is to continue to manage, well, to manage the forest for one, to at least start doing that so that we can continue to have a sustained yield through time when it comes to not necessarily timber production, because that's not their goal here, but they just want to thin the woods out so that those trees that are financially and ecologically mature and those trees that are runts or the ones that aren't as genetically fit are harvested. And so then the result is that the ones that are left over are going to be those like really strong, healthy, high genetic quality trees for what the landscape offers to then produce seed for, to continue to allow the trees to grow, but then also to sustain and support, wildlife because, they hunt. So right now, there's a lot of acorn production, but if we're going to keep that going over time, we have to release those trees that are suppressed in the understory and let them have life, let them breathe. So that's how I marked the timber to reflect that. So that's what the timber harvest is all about.
Okay, excellent. Well, I think we had quite a good group on the site visit. We got to see the idea, and just to tell the board so everybody knows that it's a fairly flat area. If there's no steep slopes, there's no issues with runoff affecting through the logging operation. So does anybody on the board have any questions for Lori at this point? Okay. Melissa, were there any questions from the public in writing or phone calls?
Nope, nothing.
All right, well then I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Just so everybody knows that this is a logging operation that's done by this best management practices through the DEC, which Lori is making sure happens. And our usual concern is that the site is cleaned up after the logging is done, especially the landing area. In this case, it's right in the Sportsman's Club front yard. So I'm quite sure they're going to clean it up when they're done. But I have asked Melissa to put a small deposit just to ensure the cleanup is done. It's sort of a standard procedure. So if nobody on the board has any other questions, then I will do the same. I would like to entertain a motion to approve the application pending draft resolution.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, Lori. Well, you've done a great job, and
Thank you, Peter.
I'm sure you will finish the job well. So
Thanks.
good
I'm
luck.
looking forward to it. Thank you so much, everyone.
Lori, I will email you tomorrow or the beginning of next week with the resolution and we'll go from there.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care, Lori.
Have a good night, everyone.
Aye.
Okay, so now we have a pre-sketch plan review. And this one is from William C. and Helen DeVoe, planning board case to be announced. And this is a sketch plan review of a possible subdivision of 2.13 acres into two lots of 1.29 and 0.84 acres. And this is the SBL 2755-11311. And it's in the HR district and the R1.5 district, located at 7 Elwyn Lane in Woodstock. And their reps are Bill Strade and Pretorius and Conrad. So if
Bill is here.
anyone there is present, they could announce themselves.
Yes, hi. I'm Bill Stade. I work with Torius and Conrad. I'm representing the DeVos for the, hopefully, minor subdivision. So I've presented this. It's kind of a little weird situation. We've got the hamlet in the front and then the R1.5 in the back. These were 3 lots at one time, which were combined for tax purposes back in 2015. So what we're looking to do is basically unsubdivide it and use the back half to build a 2-story residence for the daughter of William and Helen DeVoe.
You don't mean unsubdivide, do you?
Well, no, not because they're already together, so we're gonna subdivide them.
Right. Along the line of the lot or anywhere else?
Yes, along the line of the old lot, correct.
Okay.
There used
Because
to be 2
obviously
lots.
my marker for the zoning may or may not be accurate.
Right, so where the pink line is
That's the edge of Hamlet Commercial.
right, and that's basically where we want to subdivide it.
But is it gonna do this funny little tag here?
Yes, we
Okay,
have to do that kind of in order to keep zoning for both
Right.
parts.
right.
Okay, so you're proposing to make a subdivision and put a structure on one lot, and there's already a structure on the other,
Correct.
correct?
And it's right on the edge of the road, so you don't have any access problems.
Correct. The access will be to Ellen Lane. There is water on the property, a water line already in the northwest corner. And the sewer line is just south of the existing house.
Okay,
That I think is the sewer line. Let's see. Yeah,
Correct.
this is the sewer line. And the water lines, I guess, are these red ones, but oh, it goes right here, doesn't it?
Yes, right there. Yep.
so you'll get in touch with Larry from Water and Sewer to make sure the new house, that he can design the tank, whatever, for the new house.
Yes, the family's been in touch already with Larry. He seems to think this is possible. Of course, there's got to be some engineering done in that, but he thinks this can be done.
So typically with the acreage, this, Bill, please correct me if I'm wrong. If it was Hamlet Commercial, there wouldn't be any problem. But the problem is that a piece of this property is actually zoned R1.5.
That's correct.
It's a small parcel of land. So you, the planning board, have to decide if we can subdivide this or we need to send them to zoning for a variance.
It's 2.14 right now for the whole thing.
Mhm.
Right. And if we subdivide it at the line I've shown on the map, we will have enough to be in
1.29
R15 with,
and 0.84 is the acreage lots, right, Bill?
I'm sorry, what was that?
1.29 and 0.84 is what I had.
Right, 3,000,
Ah.
there's 36,608 square feet for the top piece.
But the problem is that's in the 1.5 zone, isn't it?
Correct, but with water and sewer on the property, we only need 1,500 square feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember we had a case similar to that. Yeah. With water and sewer, they can have a smaller lot in that zone. Correct, John? John?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, that's the code. Okay, well, we're gonna need a couple of site reps to take a look and get back. It seems doable. Does anybody in the planning board have any questions off the bat?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Where does the original house get access? Is there a driveway that we can't see here? In an
Yes, the
easement?
original house comes where Ellen Lane comes off of Mill Hill Road. And it's
Yeah.
that row of trees that is right there.
Okay,
Yep,
so that's a driveway and an easement?
that's correct.
Okay. I thought probably, but you can't tell.
Yeah, it's hard to see, yes.
And this is actually an easement. It's not owned by the same people?
I don't believe it's an easement. I believe it's a right of way that goes through there.
Okay, let me see. Christophora. So it must, they must have a right of way.
Right.
Excuse me? Oh, stop it. Hello?
Hi,
Helen DeVoe. Hi.
hi, Ellen. We can hear you.
Yes, that we do have a right of way. It goes to, I believe the Christophoras own it. It's Woodstock Pet Supply in between,
Right.
on the edge of their property and the doctor's office there. That's our right of way. That's the driveway that came with that.
Oh, yeah. This must be Woodstock's little building
Yeah.
right here.
Correct.
Yes,
Thank you for the clarification.
And that's the doctor's office right next to it.
Great.
So the driveway's like right along that line there.
Can I put the lid on? No, it won't work.
Looks pretty straightforward to me.
All right. Well, if no other board members have any questions about the case, let's assign a couple of reps, and then you're going to come back with a full survey plan for us, correct?
Yes.
Showing the proposed building and the septic tank and so on.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure we were all in agreement on the zoning and
Yep, I think we're fine on that. I do remember the case we had before where if you have sewer and water, you can have that small lot in that zone.
great,
So,
thank you.
so who wants to drive by and take a look at this site?
I'll try to do that.
Okay, great. All right. Well, looks good. I don't see any major problems, so we'll get you. Go ahead.
Sorry. Bill, if you could just get some sort of, or if Larry Allen could just email me and let me know that we have his clearance for this
Yeah,
project.
I'm gonna get in touch with everybody and make sure this is gonna work the way we want it to.
Perfect.
like
I know
said,
this
we're
is the beginning stages. I know you
Yeah.
wanted to make sure it was okay, but planning board seems to support you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just want to make sure this works. We'll get an engineer out there to make sure everything goes in the right direction
Perfect.
and this all will go correctly.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, and I appreciate your time.
Yep. Good luck.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we have a sketch plan review. And this is Michael Arnstein, and there's a wetlands watercourse permit number 21-044. This is a sketch plan review of a wetlands and watercourse permit application for development within the watercourse buffer area, and it's SBL 27.54-4-13 in the HR zoning district, located at 3 Calamar Lane in Woodstock. And the rep is Brad Will, and he had a little thing to bring forward. I just want to mention to the board, if you all didn't know, that was the scene of a bad fire. And
Yeah.
the buildings got burnt, and it's a mess back there. So hopefully this will fix it. Okay, Brad, you want to tell us what your plan is?
All right, I was muted. Can you hear me?
Yep. Hi, Brad.
Hello. Good evening. So you can hear me now, okay. So yeah, Peter just stole a tiny bit of my thunder on that, but everybody, well, I think everybody knows the story on what precipitated this application. historically speaking. So if it's okay, I'd like to just read a written statement. Shouldn't take me more than 5.5 minutes or so.
Do you want
Go ahead,
any of
Beth.
your plan materials up, or should I just leave this?
Let's see, I submitted a follow-up to Melissa, but why don't we go to the residence reconstruction and 3 property set? And we can even move through it while I'm reading, so and kind of do the
Okay.
2 birds with 1
Give me just a
pebble.
second
thing.
to get it, because I
Yep.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Brad, for the preparation, and Judy.
okay. Ornstein.
I'm sorry, what, Melissa?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
So you want the
I heard
submittal
Judith
set?
and you.
You want the submittal set?
I think that's it. Yeah, let's try that. That's the one. Okay, so it's 17 sheets, and I'm not going to go through every sheet descriptively because I know the time is limited. So I'll just dive into the narrative, and then Judith, if you want to flow through these, they're all part of the story. You can see on the cover sheet there's some data on the 3 properties on the towards the near the title block, and then some renderings of the one proposed structure for the phase 1. But why don't I just start reading this? It just tells the story. So Michael Arnstein is the owner of 3 adjacent properties with addresses of 1, 3, and 5 Calamar Lane, located in the HC district in the village of Woodstock. The properties total 64,854 square feet in area, or about 1.5 acres. All 3 are within the town water and sewer districts, and subsequently do not require any septic systems or wells. Calamar Lane is a short private road. I'm sure a lot of you know this. I didn't discover it until a lot later, oddly enough. It's so small and stealthy. It's a private road access from the south side of Tinker Street and State Route 212. It is tucked away as a tucked away residential setting, enjoying close proximity to the commercial cultural core of the famed heart of Woodstock. A key natural feature of the 3 properties is the Tannery Brook, which flows west to east through the land, and is shown where Judith scrolled to. It, you can see it pretty clearly there. That's north. If you can look at see the little arrow there, north is pointing to the right and towards Tinker Street. To the north of the watercourse is a relatively flat extension of buildable land. To the south is a smaller hilly strip of land from the bank of the brook, sloping up about 18 to 22 feet to the edge of the Comeau property conservation easement. Michael was attracted to the beauty and unique privacy of the properties, and in 2020 and 2021, purchased them to build a house for his family and develop the land with care for the natural features and extended, balanced, sustainable human living in the village. The first task was mitigating the land on which 4 residential structures once stood at 3 Calamar Lane. Excuse me, at 3 Calamar Lane was the completely fire destroyed remains of a multi-family structure from October 2018 and a ramshackle cabin overhanging the Tannery Brook. And the photographs I sent to Melissa today show a lot of those fire damage and existing conditions.
These are not in this document, are they?
No, that's correct. That's a separate document, Judith.
Okay.
It came in an email today.
And overhanging the Tannery Brook. The other 2 structures were badly damaged in the event, the fire. In total, 5 families lost their homes and a dog tragically perished. No human injuries were reported, to my knowledge. Given the age, condition, and smoke and fire damage of the remaining structures, it was not economically feasible to reconstruct any of the 3 standing residences. The Brookside cabin was not fire damaged, but would have been cost prohibitive to comply with current building codes in a reconstruction. Michael decided the best course of action was to have the wood and concrete debris pile from the totaled house and all 3 other structures razed and removed from the site. Obtaining the proper permits from the town This work was responsibly performed between August of last year and June of 2021. The owner and AEP is designated, Ashokan Architecture, as designated applicant, are proposing a phased multi-residential build-out for the 3 properties, designed and constructed to be consistent with local zoning laws, codes, and state building codes. The first phase would include reconstruction of the 2021 demolished cabinet number 3, which you saw some of the plans for.
That's this building here.
That's exactly right. The 2 suspension footbridges across Channery Brook at number 1 and number 5, exactly, Calamar Lane, and a small tent platform, non-permanent structure constructed on the south bank of Tannery Brook, right where the little hand is there. Phases 2 and 3 would have 3 primary residences, 1 on each of the 3 properties in total, and 2 additional accessory apartments beyond, in addition to the phase 1 accessory apartment designed and constructed. The phase 1 reconstructed cabin accessory apartment is an 800 square foot, 2-story American craftsman inspired design. It has a finished floor raised 3 feet above the survey, and this is where we're getting into the wetlands and watercourse part of the presentation. It has a finished first floor raised 3 feet above the surveyed base flood elevation, and Bedenbach and Eggers confirmed that location and elevation. Crawl space flood vents specified based on a calculation of the building's footprint. In other words, it can handle the volume in the event of a flood event. Its location is pulled back substantially from the previous cabin's brook overhanging placement, the foundations of which remain for board inspection. A 300-foot bluestone over stone dust patio at the south face looks over and across Tannery Brook. In total, we propose that 6 residential units and a 3-car garage will be constructed, and parking for 13 vehicles, which is shown on the site plan sheet, including the garage, be provided. Non-residential structures are limited to the 2 4-foot wide by 40-foot long suspension footbridges constructed of wood, and that's a general length. We estimate that it would be between 36 and 42 feet, so I'm just calling it 40. Constructed of wood, concrete, and steel, and 1 11-foot by 13-foot tent wooden platform for a tent to be pitched on. Approximately 50,000 square feet, or about 1.15 acres, will remain open space, greater than 77% of the overall area of the 3 parcels. It is worth noting that while none of the 6 proposed inhabitable structures are within the designated floodway, there's a map provided in the set, there are over 20 existing residential structures and an unknown number of actual dwelling units existing within the floodway to the west and north of 1 to 5 Calamar Lane. And that map is shown on sheet G002. Due to the location and watercourse proximity of the proposed rebuilt residential structures and 2 suspension footbridges to provide access to the south sides of 2 of the 3 properties, we are requesting a wetlands and watercourse review and permit. In addition to the detailed 17-sheet drawing set, the planning board has been furnished with completed watercourse and wetlands and building permit applications, and a completed part 1 short SEAF. And that's it. That's all I wanted to. I just wanted to kind of give some background because it's a hefty project. I think it would fit well within the site and provide open area and a lot of enjoyment for this beautiful little spot.
I have one question.
Yeah.
It seems like this building here is not labeled as to what phase it is. If you're only going to do this first, that would be phase 2, right?
Actually, I don't know if you have the power to zoom in on this, Judith, but the upper corner, the upper right note, it's a general note. It's just to the right of that footprint, up above.
mean
proposed,
that?
there we go. Yeah, that describes what, what the is compiled. I mean, what makes up the phase 2 and 3. If you read that.
Well, I thought I did, but this is clearly phase 1,
Yeah,
and this is clearly phase 2, but this, it's not clear.
yeah.
And that's why I'm asking.
That's okay. Well, that would be part of phase 2, or maybe even phase 3. It's
Okay.
not exactly established yet, but the phase 1
Just the cabin.
notes are to the left edge of the drawing.
The cabin, the tent platform, and the bridges.
Correct.
Thank you.
And then I mean, you can see that there's it'd be a self-requested easement for a shared drive for the parking for those 2 skinny lots, and they're small lots, so it was a little bit of a trick. So part of what's happening here is the reconstructed buildings would adhere to actual setbacks, where the removed buildings, and especially for the building you were just asking about, Judith, that building was much closer to the setback of what's the west property line on the top of the sheet. So that new building would be conforming to building setbacks, as required by the zoning code.
So it's actually
Brad.
better than the old building would have been, is what you're saying.
It's more in compliance, correct?
Yeah.
Brad, it's Brian. Thanks. Couple questions.
Right. Yeah.
And forgive me if this was identified and I didn't see it. Is this residential property for owner occupied, or is it rental, or a combination, or what's going on?
It would be owner occupied. Yeah. Michael's family would reside here. His children would be, it would be like a family compound. Now, that's not to say that they wouldn't rent out some of the units, but they would be living here.
Okay. Second question, for a site visit, there's a lot going on here. Is any of this staked out yet?
No, it isn't. But if it would be helpful for the board, I think the first phase is the critical path. To the extent that we can get started on the accessory apartment, that's part of the first phase. But I will endeavor to get. I know that the owner would be happy to provide and facilitate.
Okay.
But the stakes are not there yet.
Got it.
So the auxiliary, the accessory apartment, and the ones over the garage would be the rentals?
I think that Michael would end up using one primary residence and the phase 1 cottage accessory apartment that we'd like to construct first, that he'd like to do, because he took down that non-fire damage structure that was
Waiting to
the
be blown
last
away
year.
by the next big flood.
I'm
The old
sorry?
one. I say the old one was waiting.
Oh,
to be-
well,
to be.
it was
flooded.
it was standing on a toothpick. I'm surprised it was standing at all, but
Yeah.
there it was.
Yeah.
There's a vestige of a bygone era, I guess.
Hey, Brad, we have some housing committee members that are present, and they just are curious if you're intending for short-term rentals or long-term rentals. Because short-term rentals are at a cap in the town.
Well, if they're at a cap, then that's, Michael would comply with the laws, and I know that there's, and I don't know what the moratorium status is, but none of this is going to be constructed except for the phase 1 would be nice to get started, but that would be for the owner's use.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate your answer.
I got a question for you, Brad. How much of the property is in the flood zone?
Well, if you look at, there is a map that I show, I think it's on the sheet prior to this. So that shows the floodway. And then there's kind of a complex overlay map there. I tried to put all the pieces together there with the floodway, the base flood elevation, the topography. There was a lot going on, and I tried to break it down. You can see those representative squares in the corner there. But that's the floodway. And the floods, I'd have to look at the FEMA firm map, Peter, to answer that with accuracy, and I'm happy to do so and get back to you.
Yeah, I mean, just
see what I've got here.
obviously, you'll have to get a flood certified flood cert if the building is in the floodplain, if it is. So, and the next question.
Peter?
Yeah.
I do have a question for Brad also, because in March of 1980, I realize it's a long time ago, we had probably the most significant flood we'd had since the 1930s in this town. I was part of the fire department at the time, and I remember being back there at that time. And there was, I just don't know if the floodway's enough, Brad. I'll be honest, because the water back there was incredible.
Mm-hmm. Well, I recall my years living in Bearsville on the Sawkill, and I saw it rage quite a bit. But our basement there was, even though it was perilously close to the top of the bank, stayed dry. So that was, I guess, we were lucky that way.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, I mean, there's two things. So, obviously, they try to discourage building in the floodway.
We're not building in the floodway.
Okay.
We are. That was my point, and part of the narrative was saying you have a couple of dozen structures in the floodway, and these are not proposed to be in the floodway.
Okay, great.
I'm bringing the NRI flood hazard layer up to where we're going to be able to see it in just a second.
But they're hard to interpret over this.
Yeah, and Peter, if you take a look at the two maps that are on the G002, you'll see I took a look at all the actual construction that is in the floodway, and it turns out that what we're proposing is not.
Okay, so the point being that basically there has to be determined that you have to get a flood cert. So if you're not in the flood, if the building is not in the flood zone, then you're clear. That's what the flood cert does. It gives the elevation as proposed by the floodway itself. So that's done separately. The next question is do you know what the buffer for the creek is at that point? Do you know what the town buffer is on that creek right there?
Okay, there's the floodway.
So it's very narrow right there. I'm surprised. Okay.
It's probably,
Yeah.
I could turn on the contour lines. It's probably steep right there. Contour lines are turned on. So there's the contour lines. I guess it's steep right there. It's hard to tell from the contour lines.
Judith, if you look at my map, the floodway reaches way into town across Route 212 and going towards the post office, and almost hits the housing.
This here.
Yeah.
Right. So it narrows down a lot right at that point.
Yeah, it's kind of unusual, but that's what's happening. Is a lot of it's just happens that a lot of Woodstock Hamlet is built in a floodway.
Well, this, the light blue is kind of the someday there may be a flood here area, but this narrow stuff, one of the things I always know is that the position of those property lines is not necessarily accurate.
All right. So the other question, Brad, is the buffer for the creek. I think it's 30 feet there, but I'm just guessing. I don't have the map. So are you out of the buffer for the creek is the question. Are the buildings 30 foot back from the creek? I think it's 30 feet. We'd have to check with the building department.
No, it's not. It is not. The one that we're proposing is the reconstructed cottage. What I did, Peter, was I pulled it back. If you look at, if we go to, oh, I'm sorry, Judith, my title block failed me. So the floor plans on the sheet right after the site plan, so like 2 down from that one.
Is that the one you mean?
Next 2 down from that. There we go. So the lower right side is the first floor plan. If you walk up to the steps, oh, now you've gone too far.
Oh,
The floor plans are the previous sheet. And I don't know why they didn't get numbered, but I'll have a talk to my computer. There you
this is
go.
probably
Whoops.
what you're talking about, right?
Right there, that's it. So you see see that hatched area?
Right there.
That's where the cottage, that structure that's been raised stands, and the foundations are still shown. So Peter, to answer your question, it is not 30 feet back, but it is substantially back from the structure that is being replaced.
Okay.
And it's also going to have the flood vents. It's going to be raised up, and contrary to the sections that show otherwise, we are going to have a rodent slab at the bottom of the crawl space that will not be below the finished grade. So in the event of the ever more frequent 100-year floods come washing through there, they will have the flood vents and a flat surface that's coplanar with the finished grade for water to pass through underneath the conditioned house.
Okay, any other planning board members have questions for Brad?
Yeah, I had one question. I may have missed this in the early part of the narrative, but is this entire project just a single owner?
Well,
multiple owners?
Thanks for the question, James. It's one owner owns all 3 properties. He bought them at different times. He got demolition permits to take the damaged buildings down over the course of about 9 or 10 months time. So now that there are no more buildings standing, so he's actually invested significant finances in remediating the site, which had been, had these fire damage structures for the past few years. But so, it's one owner that would like to
of the whole area,
all 3, yeah. Okay. And the thing is, the one site, one parcel is a quote unquote normal size. The other 2 are pretty small,
right?
So that there will be a lot of open area created by the larger parcel.
Like the 77% of the unused property, that's still private property.
Oh, all this light green shading, the entire outline is all private property. Okay. The Como property is off to the left, and you can see the lines, the contour lines in the upper left. So the land starts sloping up. And I don't know if we have time, but if you, Judith, if you wanted to get that other document out that shows the existing conditions, that might be really informative.
Is that this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is.
There we go. So that building is gone. And you can see that it slopes up. It's not a steep slope. That's
the
why.
old building. That's a scary piece of architecture right there.
It's right out of a horror movie.
That's what it's standing on.
Yeah, a toothpick.
It isn't even solid. It isn't even. It may be concrete, but in a
I
good
honestly
spot,
don't know.
that would all go in the drink.
I don't know how it survived all the amazing parties it must have hosted, but there you have it. So, part of the attraction and part of why Michael loves this property so much is that he's a jeweler, and he travels to East Asia or Southeast Asia, and he's crossed hundreds of suspension footbridges that are probably very rickety, not substantial in any way, but he's very attracted to them, and it's a kind of a touchstone for him. So that's why he'd like to access the other side, and get to that other part of the property that's kind of like a backdrop to the properties.
Jeez.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
so Brad, all the lots are existing. We're not changing any lot lines or anything, correct?
no. We were considering and we studied changing, lot lines and consolidating and whatnot, and we decided to leave them as they are and just keep it simple in terms of developing them. But since you bring it up, the future phased structures would have a consistency with the first phase of the American Craftsman style. So they would kind of look like they all go together, but they would be unique designs. So as they get built over 2, 3, 4 years time, they would be submitted as and developed by our office as American Craftsman style homes.
So Brad,
Brad?
yeah, go ahead, John.
Well, I just wanted to say, could we put since they're not being combined, can we put the lot lines of the 3 parcels on the map?
Well, they kind of are.
They are. They're there.
Where?
Yeah.
That's one. They're different colors.
Yeah. If you could zoom in on that, Judith, it does say property line and setback, all that. And you have printed sets too. So it's maybe easier to read on a printed set, John. It says
Yes.
property line.
Property line, property
Side-
line.
side
property
yard
lines,
setback, yeah.
Setbacks, it's all marked in.
Okay, Brad, so basically you're before the planning board for the Watercourse permit because these are existing lots and we don't need a site plan. The planning board doesn't. It's the building department gives you a building permit.
Right. That's why we're calling it a wetlands and watercourse
Right.
application.
So it's a very nice site plan, but really we're not requiring a site plan. We just have to go through the process of the wetlands and watercourse permit. So that'll
I
be.
just thought it would be good to show you the intentions.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. It's
Seriously.
great. It's great.
And I want to say, from the point of view that I'm developing as a member of the Housing Oversight Task Force, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like it.
Yep. And that area needs it.
It's cluster housing with open land that's respectful of the terrain, and that's really quite terrific.
So what we're going to do, Brad, is Melissa's going to set up a planning board meeting for the planning board to go through the steps of the wetland watercourse permit. Okay, we have to go through a series of questions and answers to do that.
Sure.
So Melissa, if you could just put it on the schedule.
Yep.
And we'll, as a board, review the wetlands and watercourse permit part of it. Which to me seems at this point, if he's not in the floodplain, which it seems it's not, that we're only dealing with the stream setback, which we'll have to get an exact number from the building department, because I'm not sure if it's 30 feet or 35 feet. I'm not sure what the buffer is for that stream. So that's basically what we're going to be dealing with.
Okay.
All right, Brad. Anybody else on the board have questions for Brad?
Nope.
All right. Well, it looks like a great project, Brad. I'm sure it's going to look really nice and better than it was.
By a long shot. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thanks. Good night.
Agreed.
All right. Good night, all.
All right. Good night, Brad.
Right.
So the next case we have before us as a sketch plan review is Nicole Collagen, Planning Board Case 20-1224. And this is a sketch plan review for a subdivision application of a 68.3 plus or minus acre lot into 2 parcels of plus or minus 6 acres and plus or minus 62.5 acres in the R5 zoning district, located at 404 Raycliffe Drive in Woodstock. And the rep is William Edgars and Mettenbach. So just so the board knows, we had looked at this case a few months ago in what they wanted to do with a lot line revision, but the lot lines had been deleted years ago. So after much talk back and forth, it was concluded that they have to re-establish the lot. They have to actually have a subdivision and get the same lot back that did exist before. So who is here for this case for the?
It's actually me tonight, Peter.
Hi,
Hello
Heather.
again. Bill is not actually on vacation very often, but again, he is away. He's on a schooner in Maine, so I'm up for bat. So yes, we went ahead and got the septic approval. I sent the permits to Melissa, so it is. I think you have what you requested at the last meeting, in that we needed septic approval, and we have it.
And is the new lot going to be the same as the one that was before, or is the line slightly different?
The line is the same as the last submission, but these two lots have changed their configuration several times over the years. So, but it's the same as the last map that was turned in. The only thing that's different is the septic areas are added.
That's from your
Thank you. I can't tell you how lovely it is, how you can navigate screen sharing. It's
well, I finally
so
figured out
appreciated.
that if I downloaded all those things she sends us and put them in a place where I could find them, I could do this.
Oh my God. Well, from your lips to all the planning boards across the county.
Okay, so let me ask a couple of quick questions. In the lower left-hand corner is to be the new lot, the kind of squarish looking lot, correct?
Yes, they wanted to take some land out of the big lot. I mean, to reduce some of the land and create that 6 acre lot.
So the lot that's left, the bigger lot that's left, has access off of the West Saugerties Road.
As well as the hidden camp trail.
As long as that.
Yeah.
Which way are you proposing to access the big lot?
Basically the same way that trail is showing there. We didn't do driveway profiles or anything.
This one here?
Yes. Well, actually, if you can, that's the deeded right of way, but you can see how the, there's a little dashed line that runs immediately adjacent to the proposed house on the little lot there. Okay, so I see your hand. There's that site already has access.
Right.
The other site with the septic areas, you'll see, yeah, your hand was right on it. There's an existing trail there right now that goes right to the cul-de-sac. That's probably what they would use. But again, he doesn't have any plans to build on this at this time, from what I understand. It's just in order to create this lot so we can cut off those 6 acres and sell it to someone, because I believe there are people who want those 6 acres. They've just been waiting for the 6 acre lot to be created. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, but the question will come down to, does the bigger lot have approval? Because we have to make sure that both lots are buildable. So that you have septic approval for the new lot, for the small lot, correct?
Well, the small lot already had a house and a septic system, so they were reusing that.
Right. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
So it was the new lot that we went ahead and got the septic design and approval for. Okay. And it's basically in the same place as the old design.
I got you. Oh, I'm seeing just above that, the lot line to be deleted. I see.
It was the lot originally was very strange. Yeah.
This is part of the same property.
Okay. So that answers my question. Not. So the big lot includes that. That's okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They're all a little whack.
Yeah. Okay. So both lots will have septic approval. That's the main point. Okay.
Both lots have septic approval, not will have. They do.
Okay, have. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, planning board members have questions?
No.
Now, I've actually know the site. It's a heck of a drive, but it'd be nice if someone else would take a look at it. It's a good drive up there, but
it's spectacularly rugged.
It's worth the view once you get up there. It's certainly worth the view. I have been there, so I can claim.
Trust your good judgment, Peter.
What's that?
We trust your good judgment, Peter.
You picked as close a spot as there is to a flat area right there where the house is.
Yeah, it's quite the view. So if nobody else has any questions, then I think, Melissa, we're good for a public hearing to get it scheduled, I mean.
Yep. Heather, I will be in touch, and as soon as I can, I'll schedule you guys in for the public hearing.
But that sounds great. Is there anything else you need from me?
I will check the file again and make sure and close it up with the resolution, but I think we're good right now.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, everybody. I'll
Okay.
see you in a month, hopefully.
Thank
Or
you
2
for-
weeks. That's right. You're on a 2-week schedule, so maybe in 2 weeks.
Thank you for going back and doing the subdivision.
Of course, of course. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay. All righty. So our next sketch plan review is for Stephen Igor Ostromagoski and Robert Kellerman's SUP 21-0372A. This is the second sketch plan review of a special use permit application for construction to remedy a violation in the R5 and Scenic Overlay District, located at 369 Hutch Hill in Shady. Now, the board remembers they were before us a few months ago because they were issued a violation of their site plan. And in that meeting, we discovered that it was really an old quarry rubble, which he was cleaning up and around his house to make it more livable. And the board decided that since what's done is done, and we don't want to undo it because it was a mess before. So we don't want to put the mess back. So what the board decided was to remedy the situation, to have them get a surveyor and locate what they've done and put it on a map so that we have a updated site plan of that lot. And I believe that's where we stand. So if the applicant wants to address the board, please go ahead.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Great, I figured out how to use this because I'm doing it on a mobile. So as you requested, I contacted Viteri, who originally did the work up there, and I guess Viteri Senior has passed away, but Michael, his son, who's taken over, he came up, he remembered the site and everything, and I gave him basically what you guys requested from the notes, and he did it. He said the same thing. He's like, you know, we basically, as you guys know and see from the pictures, we just cleaned it up. I think he marked, you know, the additional area that quote unquote was touched, although it was still quarry rubble, and there's plenty more up there. But I think we did what you guys asked us to do, and hopefully you can see that on the map.
Now, which document do you want there, Stephen?
I'm sorry, are you asking?
There's just one. Nope, there's a map. Nope, it's not in there. It was sent separate after that email, Judith.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure I got that.
Yeah, no, maybe you didn't. It came a couple days after I sent that.
Well, I can look for it if you want, but I don't have to.
I've actually seen it, and
Yeah, Peter and I talked about it.
and what he's done is what we've asked for is to put on the site plan the changes that have been made. And so, Steve, I guess the lesson to be learned, you're in a scenic overlay. Any changes to your house, especially over 300 square feet, but any changes to the site, please apply for a site review first.
Absolutely. And again, I apologize. We just didn't, we didn't know that. I mean, it's like me, but we really didn't know. We didn't know. And like I said, because it was rubble, really didn't think we were, you know, overstepping, but I do appreciate it, and, you know, noted for next time.
Okay. So, Melissa, can we put him on for a public hearing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Steve, I will call you and schedule that next week.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Have a good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, under discussions and comments. First thing she has is meeting start time. I don't know how the board feels. I'm quite happy with 6:30. But if anybody wants to have,
Are we okay with 6:30?
I am.
I see 5 right away. That's good for me.
Yep, I am.
okay,
6:30 it is. Thanks, guys.
great, thank you. And then we have to approve the resolution for Learner Bar, which is the Highwood Sportsman's Club, but I'm a little confused, Melissa. It's a different. What's this resolution for the Sportsman's Club?
The timber harvest.
Okay.
They were 2 separate resolutions. Learner
The
Bar.
number looked different, that's all.
Okay. No,
Okay.
it's Learner Bar was the subdivision, the lot line revision and the SUP for the house. That's Barry and John. And then the Highwood, there are 2 public hearings.
Okay, so can I hear a motion to approve the resolution for the Highwood Sportsman's Club?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and now it's time for James. I see James went up to the site visit.
Wait, hang on. You gotta approve the Learner Bar one too. You only did Highwood Sportsman Club.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
So James went up and did a site visit and wrote a little note, but James, why don't you tell the board what you saw up there?
It was pretty much what he had explained, was that though it's in the scenic overlay, technically it's a property that's very set back from the side of the mountain, and you stand in this very natural open field, which so nothing's really going to be like chopped down or just taken away other than a few scraggly ash trees and things like that. There's already a rather large solar panel unit there, which I would imagine you would have seen quite a lot of in the scenic overlay if it could be seen. And the structure is to be built right next to it. And you can stand in this field and just look 360 around you and just only see tree line, and there's nothing to look down upon or anything. So it's incredibly well set back. So it doesn't seem should be any issue but he should still be compliant with all of his materials and all that.
Good. Well, it's certainly a nice looking building, I can say
It's
that.
beautiful, yeah. And I don't think it has, if I'm correct, I think it has no septic or anything like that. So it's just pretty straightforward.
Barn with electric.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So thanks, James, for doing that. And I guess, Melissa, we can set them up to come back and get them approved.
Sounds good. So schedule a public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any board members have any other issues to bring up before adjournment? If not, entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And thank you all for being in the Zoom meeting.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Thanks for leading us. Thanks, everybody. Good seeing you. Take care.
Yep.
Take it easy.
Thanks.